Welcome to the National Solar Observatory at Sacramento Peak. I guess there's some kind of solar observatory. That's pretty cool. It's like a gated community almost. I think it's actually Cloudcroft address. They just call it Sunspot on the map. When I GPS'd it, it would not pull up Sunspot. It would show me where it was, but it wouldn't let me get directions to get there. So, check this out. Hey guys, in this one I'm going to cover the Sunspot Astronomy and Visitors Center, which I actually found when I was up hiking at Cathy Canyon in my second to last video. I was just driving down the top of the mountain range here, and I saw the signs for an astronomy center, which I've never been to one before, but it's kind of a neat little place. It'd be awesome for kids. You'll see in the video, there's all kinds of activities inside this visitors center, and basically they teach you about what their telescopes do. Pretty neat. There's a bunch of telescopes on this property. I think one of them, which is in the video, is still being used. I don't think the rest of them are being used, or at least not very much. But this is the big silo. This is a 330-ton telescope, which is supported by the roof, or if this little silo facility. The telescope inside is supported by the structure from the top down. So it's basically floating on I think she said it's like 1/8 of an inch of mercury. So the bearing it's basically a frictionless bearing, almost completely frictionless bearing, and it's a mercury bearing, which is, mercury, the liquid metal. So it's pretty neat. In the video, you can see where she actually moves the whole structure with her foot, because it's just basically frictionless. But 330 tons supported by that, so that's pretty cool. And they have it. I guess this telescope is for taking pictures of the sun. To see what the surface of the sun is doing, or whatever, which I know nothing about, but that's this video. So I'm at the Sunspot Astronomy Center. It's got a fancier name than that, but I just walked around the outside and the inside. They have a little gift shop. I guess this is where the Air Force was testing the effects of solar radiation against communication signals. So, well, that's cool. There's just cattle kind of roaming around. It's not in use except for one telescope today. It's a big silo telescope, which you can go in the building apparently. So I'm gonna go check that out. But it's a neat little town. I guess there was like 120 people that lived here at one time. So this is the silo that I guess you can still go in. It's just massive. I think that was the first one they built, just on the peak of the mountain. So I'll go up there and check that one out. I'm at the top of the Sunspot Observatory. It's pretty high elevation up here, so I'm breathing heavy no matter what I do. And I think you can see the Apache Observatory. It's not called that, it's Apache something. But that one's still in use. It's more modern, I guess. And people can see it from remotely, from all over the world apparently. I just don't know anything about this stuff. I just think it's interesting. And I think El Paso is out there somewhere. So I'm inside the silo. At the top, oh, there's a reflection, sorry. Turret and the mirrors at the top, and it actually shines down to the bottom, and then it's reflected back up and down again. It's pretty awesome. So we're gonna be like right up here. Dunn Solar Telescope. Okay, this is awesome.
Yourself and stuff.
That has got to be.
So, in Bucket 1, this is a particularly difficult feat.
Okay.
Feel free to do it yourself.
How heavy is that, do you think?
Well, that's what I was just about to ask you. So this,
Oh gosh.
so the top of the turret that you saw above you is about 136 feet up,
Okay.
and down below our feet, another 226 feet,
Oh,
is
200.
the actual mirror.
Wow.
So so the entire focal length of this telescope is larger than a football field with its end zones combined. So the sun's light comes in through the very top, goes all the way down to the primary mirror at the bottom, and then comes back up through one of these 4 ports that we have, where we have 4 different instruments on.
Wow.
A couple of the instruments that we have in operation right now, we have 4
Okay.
currently.
Really cool looking. Okay, so downstairs.
You can see the hole in the floor here.
Yep.
So that's where we were just standing.
Okay.
And then there's a gap here.
Are you okay being on video? I don't want to.
Yeah,
If you're not comfortable.
that's okay. And so then there's a gap here, and it's the same
Okay.
kind of thing. So it's still like there's no friction down here either.
So it's complete. This whole thing is floating from the top of the side.
Floating from those top bearings, yeah.
Oh.
So all of these, this is all of our electronics, which we hold down here because otherwise if we leave too much up there, that room gets really hot.
Oh, okay.
So we tend to.
So they're just suspended from the
Yes.
same structure.
So this is actually our air conditioning unit that we have.
Oh yeah.
In general, we don't need AC most of the year because it usually doesn't break 85.
Underneath the rest of the structure.
Yes, so these are our vacuum pumps. So that entire telescope is in a vacuum. So
Oh, it
we're
is?
at about 0.02% of sea level in that vacuum. And here on the mountain, we're at 72%. So it's a pretty good vacuum.
Is that, so what, space is what, 100% vacuum?
Yeah, it's pretty much the best vacuum. Yeah.
So that's,
Perfect.
that's pretty strong.
It's pretty close, yeah. And the reason that we need to be in vacuum is because we have an atmosphere on this planet, which is really great for us humans, but really terrible for us as astronomers. Because what happens is you get turbulence. So if you've ever been out on pavement on a hot day, you see those wavy. So we get that even at the top of our telescope, way up on the top of this mountain. And so we have something called adaptive optics, which essentially reads how the light has changed coming through that turbulence and basically counteracts it and subtracts it off so that it looks like normal light. And we have to do that in a vacuum because you can only do that when there's no, because if you had additional air, making things difficult, then.
I got you. That's understandable. I mean, you put it in layman's terms, this is what I need, so I get that.
So this is our re-illuminizer, so we can actually re-illuminize our own mirrors. Sometimes APO, the other group over there, will bring their mirrors here to be able to illuminize. These are all of our spares.
What does that mean, re-illuminize?
So mirrors have their shiny surface, not all too different from this.
Right.
Essentially what we do is we kind of melt off the layer and put a new one on. So anything that, if it's been chipped or cracked or whatever, we're essentially just putting a new layer on. So it's like getting a brand new mirror without buying a brand new mirror.
That's pretty
Which
cool.
are not cheap.
Is it like heat that does that? Or?
Heat.
Okay. Sweet.
And so this place was built in the 60s by the Air Force, and they were going for efficiency to get this thing online as fast as possible. So this is probably my favorite room in the entire building.
There's another room. Okay.
Because we are on the side of a mountain, right?
Yep.
Come on in.
Gotcha. Oh.
So they asked, they were like, hey, what do you guys get a room, use this room for? They're like, oh, just some duct work.
That
You need
is
the rest
so
of the
cool.
room? No. So they just left it. So this is the Sacramento Mountains.
This is the actual mountain that it's built
Yep,
into.
this
Okay.
is literally the mountain.
Oh, that's awesome. Easier to leave it here than to chip it all out, right?
Yeah, because it's a lot of work.
That's cool.
This is
I
different.
can see why this is your favorite room.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
That's great. Man, thanks for the tour.
Yeah,
That is so
of course.
cool.
Seem interested, so I thought I would.
I am, yeah. No, I'm literally up here to hike, right? I went up
Yeah.
to Kathy Canyon because I found it on
Okay.
Google Maps.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I'm staying in El Paso. And I drove up and then I see the sign from like Solar Observatory. Like,
Yeah.
Highway Highway. So, yeah. Are these the original like crates of this stuff?
I think so.
They look like like Indiana Jones old.
I don't know for sure, so don't quote me, but I would imagine most of them are, yeah.
That's just awesome.
Yeah, so the Air Force actually had a presence up here until about 2010.
Oh, they
So
did?
they were, we actually assist, they do sounding rocket launches from White Sands Missile Range,
Oh, okay.
where they help us do extreme ultraviolet
Okay.
calibrations.
So that was really nice of her to take us on a tour. Even got to see the basement and everything. Well, the basement's actually 220 feet down, but what's the second story down, I guess. So this little self-guided tour path is, I think they said, a half a mile. And it is just gorgeous weather up here. It's got to be 65 still. No wind. Wow. There's a lot of towers up here for stuff. Picked a really good day. I really thought I was going to get rained out, but nope. It's raining all around, it seems like. Not here.